Hey, what's going on? Glendon Cameron, founder of Hustlers Kung Fu, where you learn to make money without a job. This is the spot. Today it's going to be a little different, but it's also about business because this is very, very big. Typically, when a company starts to degrade or to go down, it doesn't happen overnight. And I know stock price and other things. I think Apple is about to take some more L's because I'm going to explain some other stuff why I feel this way. But before we jump into that, Cyber Monday here. The deal that I'm going to offer right now will expire once this video is watched at some future date. But 26 business courses, marketing, business models, all of that and more, plus a consult with me. And I'm creating a new advanced business platform. So everyone who bought the special this weekend, who bought it today, you're going to be part of that platform. I just didn't mention it. And I raised the price. And each time I talk about it, I'm going to raise the price. So if you want to lock yourself into all that, grab the deal below, which ends tonight since it's Cyber Monday. All right, let's get into why I think Apple is going to catch some L's, and I mean some serious L's. First of all, before we get into it, I'm doing this on the iMac. Matter of fact, I don't even have to say it. I can show it to you. Whereas we go around the world and you can see yourself. It just goes into infinity right there, right? And then there's another iMac, 17-inch Macbook Pro i7 chip. Let's put this back. That was kind of fun. I got a little dizzy, but just to show you, because like anybody can say anything, but showing is a different level. All right. 6S charging, 6 Plus S charging. Now, why do I have a 6S and a 6 Plus? Because this goes into the heart of my video and the things I'm about to talk about and why I think Apple's going to catch some L's. I'm not buying any new Apple products to maybe the iPhone 8. Now, let's start here before we get into the 2006 MacBook Pro, why I'm not buying it, and some other things that I have seen with Apple. Number one, the iPhone 7 is marginally better than this. Better camera, it's faster, but having a 6, this is a business lesson for folks who are tuning in who are going like, hey, I don't want to learn anything about iPhones. Okay, the 6 is way faster than the 6S. So if you have a 6S and you want to go to a 7, you'll notice it in the camera and the 4K. Now the 6S Plus here has 4K video, which is awesome. But for my needs, there really wasn't a reason for me to move up for my needs because I am a media company, videographer. I got all kinds of stuff here. I mean, I got like several cameras here on the tape, but for me, it just doesn't make any sense. And I did my research and I checked out all of these reviewers and everything. And it was just right on the money because I even went to the store because I got upgrades. I got 2 upgrades. I can get one if I wanted one, but it doesn't make sense because it's not going to serve me because it's only a marginal improvement. Now, how does this factor into why Apple's taking L's? They're not making the best products that they used to make. When I went from my Toshiba, I got a video on there, like how to cool your Toshiba down. It's here on YouTube. I was frustrated. Now, the products, like, this is an iMac with an iPhone i5 chip. That's an iMac with an i5 chip. That's an i7 chip. Very important for video rendering and streaming. Streaming makes a big difference. But they're catching the L because I spent this. Now this is what? Sucker's heavy. I'm showing you just how big it is because it's 17-inch. They don't make this anymore, right? But I spent $3,400 on this in 2011. Well worth the money. well worth the money. Matter of fact, my new Apple acquisitions will be another 27-inch off eBay for $1,000 with an S solid state drive. And I'm probably going to get another one of these guys because they don't make them anymore. And you can put 2 solid state drives in there if you wanted to boot up this. There's a lot. Same thing with the 2011 iMacs. You could just go ahead and completely rebuild them, get more power for less than a new one. And I flirted around with the Apple Pro, but it seems to suck ass. And I've heard several people say that, and it's like $4-6 grand. Now, here's the business lesson. Apple, the stock, I hadn't looked, I'm quite sure it's doing well, and the release of the 7 and, the release of the new MacBook Pro. But for someone who really needs this stuff, it's not working. It's just not working. We got Logan. What's up, Logan? Benjamin Gandy, because of the headphones? Not really the headphones. Morning Blue, they killed the USB ports. I mean, the headphones are kind of a reason, but like I said, I'm a heavy duty user, right? It's charging because I didn't charge it last night. But I can stream and watch videos, go for an hour-long walk, go to the gym, do all kinds of stuff on one charge. So it's not really the headphones. It's just the new stuff isn't better. The depth of field in the camera is an app. It's not true depth of field through the lens. Very, very big. So Apple, maybe it's because Steve Jobs is gone, they've lost their way, and this is the decline of Apple. Now, I say this because I've not had a business to the magnitude of Apple, which is in the top 10 companies internationally. Huge company, they're not going out of business. But those L's are coming because the iPhone 7 was an L. The MacBook Pro, 2016 MacBook Pro is an L. If you never had a Mac and you bought one, you would probably think it's the best thing in the world. But if you've had Mac since 2011, that's when I made the transition. This to me, is a great machine. It does everything I need to do. So, other than making this better, which in my opinion they didn't, there was no reason for me. And once again, I spent, and I'm not saying this to brag or anything, it's just that was how important my YouTube channel was for me to spend $3,400 on this. That, and if the Apple Pro was what it was supposed to be, I would buy it, but it's not. So for people like me who will spend outrageous sums of money for computer equipment, and I'm saying, I'm not going to do it. I'm not buying your new phone. I'm not buying the new MacBook Pro. What I'm going to do is go out and get your older stuff and soup it up and slam it out, because the older stuff is better for people like me who will spend outrageous sums of money on the computer equipment. And this is the reason that Apple is lost its way and it's going to catch some L's. Is when I went from my Toshiba and when I went from Windows to Mac, it was a seamless transition. Very, very easy to use, very intuitive. And it was just like everything I needed. It was amazing. Now you have to go out and spend, if I was to trick out the new MacBook Pro, it's $3,400. Then I got to go out and spend some more money for adapters. That's insane to me. That's just insane. And for a company to put out not one, and this is the reason Apple's catching L's, not one, but 2 products that have moved away from their base of folks like me, crazy folks, they've lost their way. Because see, this isn't one product, it's 2. Then there's some other stuff with the smaller MacBooks, and they've done nothing to the iMac. They haven't touched the Pro stuff in years. So it just doesn't make any sense. So when you start to lose your core, because you have a lot of people, they're getting their first iPhone, they're getting their first MacBook Pro, and it's amazing. Like I said, they're not going out of business, but they're going to catch a lot of L's. And they're going to allow Microsoft, which boggles the mind, to come in and actually capture the market. Because if you've looked at who's the richest person in the world, it's Bill Gates. He's worth 81 billion. 81 billion. He was worth 56. Somehow he has gained another 30 something billion dollars and probably will hit 100 bill. What is that, a trillion there? Is a $1 trillion, 100 billion? I don't know. I don't know. Don't just quote me. But if he hits 100 billion and that makes him a trillionaire, he's going to be the first one to do that. If that worked, if the math is right on that. So the fact that Microsoft has elevated, because Bill Gates gets his money from Apple, from Microsoft's stock. So they seriously rebounded. So Apple is in trouble, and this is the beginning of it. Now, they can easily right the ship. They can easily go ahead and do the things that they need to do to cut this off, because, there's two L's. They still made money, but they've turned people off. They've turned me off. And like I said, I'm not going to abandon Apple products. I'm going to buy used products, because, that's my background of getting max value out of used stuff. So that's what's going to happen with me. Now, from a business standpoint, there's something horribly awry at Apple's headquarters to be pulling off these shenanigans, because it's just not going to work. And the lesson here for you guys is, if you build a company and you have something that works, because I'm going to get into a lot of stuff in a minute, that once you turn off the base, sometimes you'll never get them back. So let's see what we got in here. Zero Raccoon, you can't even hook up the iPhone 7 to the Macbook Pro out the box. I did not know that, but I'm not shocked. Benjamin Gandy, not enough change in product to justify the money. 100% on the money, Benjamin. Zero, it's only good for those who use Final Cut Pro. Other than that, I don't see a reason to buy this. I can't really refute that, because I've said many times, if I wasn't doing heavy video production, I probably wouldn't have all these Macs. That's the reality. I got an iPad, but it's upstairs, so I'm not going to get that. But the reality is, I got everything because it worked together. It was super, super easy. It was seamless, and that's going away. That's a huge problem. That is a big problem. Oh, shoot, Apple Watch. I'm like an Apple head, and I can't go forward because the products are not as innovative as they used to be. So Zero, I can't refute that. It's pretty much on point. Frank Jacobs, have you seen some of Apple's recent advertisement on TV? They're very esoteric to me. It's not Apple, just Apple. I know exactly what you mean, where you see all this. It's this story like Frankenstein. He screws in the bulbs and everything. I understand that marketing, and Apple's doing it. Buick's doing it. That's very common. It's storytelling, but that's not going to hurt them. It's the actual lack of innovation in the product that's going to hurt them. Benjamin Gandy, the new Microsoft computer looks awesome. I've seen it. I haven't played with it, but I've seen it. It is. Remember when they call an iPad Pro a computer? K9, 1,000 billion is 1 trillion. Okay, like I said, I didn't know, but somebody's going to get there, which is staggering. It's really, really staggering. But let's see. Big Short, new Apple MacBook Pro, don't like it. Benjamin Gandy, they may be out of touch with the wants and needs of their customers. Yes. Now let's go into how I intimately know how this stuff works, because I've gone through it. This channel started off as a reseller channel, storage auctions. I don't do that anymore. And I wasn't going to go out and fake like I was still buying units and stuff, because I still get people like, hey, you still buy units and stuff? I'm like, no, I've been like for 3 years saying I'm a different kind of cat. But I knew that when I changed tactics, I was going to lose people. I wasn't shocked when a lot of people left, and a lot of people have left the channel. And that's just how it is when you alienate your core. So I went from a storage auction reseller guy to a media guy, a videographer. I was always a writer. That was the first presentation. But a lot of people were like, I'm not feeling that shit, dude. I'm out. That's the reality. And when I did the 100 videos in 21 days and brought up a lot of older videos, a lot of those people came back. And then when I went with this new format, which is more artistic, because there's a lot more that's coming, because I'm going to go back to get into journalistic roots, stories, interviews, and stuff like that of people you probably never heard of, but I know for a fact they are successful and they can help you with their knowledge. But I made that turn and it didn't work. Now, here's another example that's a parallel of what Apple's doing. There were a lot of guys on YouTube, I'm not mentioning names, who jumped on, quote, the Kindle bandwagon, creating how to sell books on Kindle, these formats, these processes, right? And they don't give a shit about writing. I am a lifelong reader. I was a member of a book club for 15 years. I dig writing. I like writing. So for me to write a book and to make money from it is very much in line with the stuff I like. Whereas there's a bunch of people who just say, hey, I'm into it for the money, which Apple probably is. And there's nothing wrong with that, except I think it's going to cause problems. Because if Microsoft can jump back in, there's other companies that can do the same thing. But they got into it and game changed and they all got out. They all got out. So when you're doing that kind of stuff, it's not really good for a long-term business. Let's see. Zero. That's what I want to know. Who are they marketing this for? Because they seem to have alienated a lot of people on feature reports and priced out a lot of people buying it. Pretty much. Kindle steals your money. Amazon's no good. I don't know about that. That's not happened to me, but it's the reality. And with Apple, it's just when you do the research, when you do your due diligence, and you'll just see that a lot of these products are not going to serve you if you're a heavy duty user. Like for those of you who don't do video, when I had my Toshiba, and this was years and years ago, this was 2009. Actually, I got a Mac like 2010. I got my first Mac 2010, and then I sold it, took that money because I bought it on Craigslist, got this bad boy, and I only had that maybe 4 or 5 months because it was still under warranty, and I got rid of it before the warranty was up and took that money and got that. But my Toshiba would literally take hours to render a video. And this way back then, you couldn't even do videos past 15 minutes. So it wasn't even a long video. I mean, literally, I could do nothing else. It would get super hot. Sometimes it would shut off. Sometimes it'd be so hot that I couldn't even touch it. And I went to my iMac, and it was just like video rendered in 20 minutes, video rendered in 36 minutes. What? I felt like I had found the Holy Land. And it was such a big improvement in my turnaround, my workflow. And I was just like, man, I became a Mac and Apple head, because the main reason that I will spend outrageous sum of money on certain Mac products is because they worked very well. Just seamless, just really, really seamless. And that seems to be going away because for me it seems crazy that to spend $3,400 on a piece of computer equipment and have to go out and buy some adapters. It's a little crazy to me. Just a little crazy to me, just a little crazy. So I will not be making that move. Now, another parallel is when in the storage auction business, I tried to go high end out the gate, tried to buy the better units, which were so expensive. They're very, very expensive. And I would get the units and the product would sit and it would sit and it would sit. And I just saw it and I was like, the market dictated that we did better when we sold a lot of cheaper stuff. And, going in there And there were many times that once I figured out what the market wanted, which were items between $1 and 45, we stayed there. We sold a bunch of stuff like that. Money, 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 money. Got outside those parameters, sales went bam. The market was just like, this is what we want, fool. Give us what we want. We will give you our money. And I kind of think, I think that's what Apple is about to experience, because also iPhones have become a commodity. Now, this is just North America. They sell these products. I mean, Apple has sold 1 billion iPhones. That's staggering. They've sold 1 billion plus iPhones. So like, once again, they're not going out of business or anything like that. But I think unless they make some big changes, they're going to lose marketplace dominance. And also, we as a culture are moving out. Like, I mean, in this house, there's 3 iMacs, 2 MacBook Pros, 3 iPhones, 2 iPads. Now, the reason is we do a lot of heavy duty stuff here. I do 3 iMacs pretty much for video, YouTube stuff. So there's a need, but let's go down to the average person who may have a phone and a tablet, who might buy a MacBook Air to do a little extra. Those folks may not be doing it. They just may not be doing it. And this is a lesson for you guys who want to start a business, because this happens on so many different levels. Like, you ever go to a restaurant and they serve something that you really like? For some reason, they take it off the menu, and you don't go to the restaurant as much as you used to. I'll give you a great example. Like, Chick-fil-A is not going out of business, but Chick-fil-A used to have coleslaw. I used to love to order the coleslaw, right? And I would take it and I would put it on my Chick-fil-A sandwich. I would just dump it out there, spread out, because I just love that taste. And I went in there, and one day they just like, we no longer have it. My trips to Chick-fil-A have gone down 75%. I'll still go. I'm not going to say I'm never going to go there, but I went for the coleslaw, and the coleslaw isn't there anymore. So my participation, and there's another place that I didn't go to because it was far, it was really out of the way, but they have coleslaw, and I go there more. So and it's these little things that loom large later on. Do not be under the impression that, that's just a little thing, that's just Glendon. It happens. Now, Chick-fil-A is a really smart company. They have really smart management. So they probably figured out that not that many people who were like coleslaw people, such as myself, and they felt getting rid of it would be a good thing. But with that said, I would not be surprised if it makes a return. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Not shocked. So it's these little things that create problems. I've seen it in several of my businesses when I pivoted or I did something cute. I've seen it here on YouTube. And these changes, when they happen, aren't that bad. It's just, if you don't pay attention to the market and you keep going, because I'm one person, like I said, Apple's not going out of business, but I probably would have dropped $7 grand on 2 computers if they were up to if they did what I needed them to do. I would have got the Pro. Yeah, because the Pro was $4 grand. I would have got the Pro, and I would have got, actually, it was more than that. I think around 10, because I would have probably, because all my stuff is older and it's out of warranty, but about 10 G's. New MacBook Pro, 15-inch i7 chip, new i7, new 27-inch with an i7. Yeah, about 10 G's that I'm not going to spend. What I am going to spend is roughly 3. And I'm going to get an iMac with an i7 and another 17-inch MacBook Pro off eBay. So they've helped the resale market, but I'm going to stop buying the new. Oh, yeah, and the iPhone. I'm just not buying it because it just doesn't, it's not going to do what I need to do. And it's not that much better. It's like, leaving your girlfriend because she doesn't do 2 things for the chick who only do those 2 things and doesn't have the other 98%. It's kind of stupid, but people do that shit. Let's see. Benjamin, you can mod an older iPhone and get a larger storage in an hour for cheaper than a new one. Could be. Like this one, I got 128 gigabytes because I do a lot of video and it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting in terms of how fast you can fill these phones up with pictures and video. And I'm doing 4K, so that's another reason. And this one I think has 64, but this is the business phone. I just do business stuff on it. I rarely do video. So, I mean, not upgrade this unless it's free or something. I mean, there's just really no point. And it doesn't really travel that much. It's usually on the desk. It does, you know, it's never been dropped. So once again, form, function, reason, it just doesn't make any sense. But understand, I'm one person. How many more people out there are feeling like me? And, you know, I'm not going to get like romantic on it. Like I feel that they abandoned me or nothing like that. I mean, Apple's a company. They got to do what they need to do to serve their shareholders. But with that said, I'm not buying their new shit. It makes no sense. It's just not going to take me where I need to be. So it's be funny. Big Short, I needed the USB ports and card reader. Bad move on Apple's. That's another reason that I'm going back to 2011 models iMac, because they have that card reader built in. This one has it. It's in the back, which is kind of a pain in the ass to get to. And I know a lot of people don't use CD-ROM drives, but I do. And that's something else. I mean, you know, this is the thin one. This is 2015. Just don't have it. And these are business decisions. This isn't for me just like, oh, well, I got all this Apple shit. It's like, this is how I make my money. This is how I create my courses. This is how I create my audiobooks. This is how I create YouTube videos. They're just like not getting any more of my money. It's just not happening. And for, you know, just a brief interjection in there, you know, this is Hustlers Kung Fu, where we teach you how to make money without a job. There's a lot of people who, you know, let's have this little chat, who want to, I'm not doing the resale stuff anymore. And this is why. It is not scalable. It just isn't. What I can do is a bunch of one-off conversations with people, maybe charge 150 an hour and literally work my ass off and not help people to the level that I think I can help people. So I'm not doing it. And I get a lot of emails, and like, I appreciate you folks for watching, but it's not scalable. With that said, there's been a lot of Amazon people who've been creeping in my inbox on Facebook and sending me, look, here's the deal. Let's just get real close. Let's get real close. If you want me to help you leave Amazon or help you create a business model, that's called consulting. It's $1,000 an hour, or you can get on the $3,500 retainer plan. That's what you need. I don't need lunches. I don't need dinners. We're not friends. Okay, put that out there, because every time I do a video and talk about it, I get one of those things in my inbox. I actually even have a client who's trying to sell their Amazon business. They're trying to get out while they can. And I advise them, if you can get money for it, do it. But that's the deal. Big Short, I did not see that. What are you talking about? But the lack of innovation, which is the reason that they became so amazing in our world. But yeah, I'm just putting that out there, letting folks know, because just like this is a topic I normally wouldn't do, when I saw the business implications, because you'll see me take a topic like this and tell you, because like I said, I was thinking about getting it. I actually went on a trip, and I was like hoping that they would come out with it so I can get it before the trip. But when I saw what happened, I mean, you know, just to do a live stream, right? Like right now, if I had the new MacBook Pro, I would have to have the adapter, because right now I've got my H6 Zoom plugged in USB. I've got my Logitech here in a USB. I would have to buy an adapter to do something I'm already doing. That makes no sense. Big Short, just get out like the Amazon suing sellers. I didn't know that was happening. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff, but typically with a business, it doesn't go downhill overnight. It's usually something small like this that gets bigger and bigger over time. Because like I said, there's a bunch of people who are going to buy the 2006 MacBook. I'm not. There's a bunch of people who bought the iPhone 7. I didn't. And if the iPhone 8 is not like, if they don't, for me, I mean, seriously, I might have this phone for 3 or 4 years, because the only reason for me to get an iPhone 8 is like maybe if I lost that or dropped it or something, I might get one. But just to get one, it's got to be better. The camera, like I think the new iPhone 7, the front-facing camera's 1080. That might be a reason. If you're doing a lot of Facebook Live, that makes sense. You're going to get better resolution. But I'm not really doing a lot of Facebooking. So it doesn't really, it's just got to be things that will integrate into my business and what I'm doing. That's what it has to be. And for you guys who are building companies, who are building stuff, this is something you got to kind of look at, because once you start off with your business model, and I can tell you from experience, and you pivot, you're going to lose a lot of people. You may gain more than you lose, but you're going to lose people. And that's something you should be aware of as you build your business on trends versus building it on something more durable, if that makes any sense. All right, I'm about to bounce. If there's any questions about what I think is happening with Apple, because one of the things I do with these streams is I keep it on point. I don't go 50 feet over here. I might go a foot or two, then I'll come back and just keep them more congruent for people who come after, because I leave these up. Big Short, Cody Hawk covered it. It's true. Amazon taking big brand side, suing sellers. Amazon's about to lose their butt. All right, I don't know about that. I will say this. They have no choice but to take the side of the brand, because the brand is their intellectual property. And if 4 or 5 major brands gained up on Amazon, there could be serious financial repercussions. So they have no choice. It ain't taking the side. They have no choice. I mean, they would lose. You just can't take someone's stuff and then sell it, and then all this bad stuff is happening and not be liable. So that's the reality. And like I said, for those of you who are Amazon sellers and you're looking to escape, I got a plan, but it ain't cheap, and you need to have some reserves so we can work on your new business models, because this is not, see, I understand the total attraction. I do, but most businesses don't run like that, because see, this thing, you're not a business, you are part of a larger business, kind of like the Hive or the Borg or something. Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated. I mean, that's pretty much how it is. All right, so there's no questions about that. For those of you who are still here, for $1,100, you get 26 business courses. You get to talk to me 90 days, anytime you want to, 90 days after you buy the course. And you will be able to get in on a new platform that'll be advanced selling techniques. So with that, see you folks later. Y'all have a great day. Thanks for showing up. And be sure to subscribe and like and share this.